Welcome to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast dedicated to people who want to speak more as a way to build their income and grow their business. Well, welcome to the Wealthy Speaker Podcast. My name is Jane Atkinson, and I'm the author of The Wealthy Speaker 2.0 and the Epic Keynote. The topic of today's podcast is social media. We're all likely on the bandwagon at this point, but I think our goal now is to be more strategic. And Chris Tompkins is here to help us with that strategy. Welcome, Chris.
Thanks for having me, Jane.
Oh, I'm so excited to dive into this with you. Let me give everybody just a brief little bio. Chris Tompkins is the CEO of the Go Agency. He's host of the Social Marketing Academy radio show, which I think you're going to want to tap into. Christopher is also a published author, and his latest book, The Go Method, 22 Simple Steps to Creating a Social Media Strategy That Works, is now available. Also a must read for our listeners. So Chris, let's just discuss what kind of the basics are, just to make sure everybody's on the same page with regards to those, and then we'll dive even deeper into it and see what some of your customers are doing.
Absolutely. That sounds great. When it comes to social media, as a speaker, I think it's no different from the clients that we work with at the Go Agency on a day-to-day basis. We have a wide cross-section of clients, and I really do think that there's a core mix that works for everybody. Okay. And I really want to say that the first place I would start out with is a mix of what I say is the holy trinity, so to speak, which is Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Okay.
And the reason why I choose those, and it's going to be funny because we're going to talk later about some of the trends that I see, which don't really focus on these three sites. But these three sites have been established for so long, and so many people have become so used to using them that if you really want to enhance your profile and build credibility, which is one of the most important things, especially if you want to be a corporate speaker, you want people to think that you're a credible source of information, and they can put you in front of their audience and really trust that you're going to deliver. And I feel that Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter are a good way for you to kind of manage that profile.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. And so let's say you're a speaker who wants to do more corporate work. Would you have heavy up on, say, LinkedIn rather than Facebook or something like that?
You know what? It's really funny. I would say if you asked me that question about maybe 2 years ago or even maybe sooner, I would have a different answer. I would probably say, yeah, let's go a little bit heavier on LinkedIn. But with the capabilities of Facebook and how they have changed in terms of advertising and then also choosing your target market, which has become a growing capability of Facebook that a lot of people don't know about. And then also the availability, like now more than ever, the people that you're trying to pitch your speeches to are on Twitter as opposed to 2 years ago when they were kind of just catching up with Facebook and LinkedIn.
Okay.
Well, now they're there.
Nice. I like it. I like it a lot. And when you're on, let's say, circle back to Facebook, we're probably wanting to start out with that business page and get that growing, because if we do the personal, we're going to get maxed out at 5,000, right?
Absolutely. And this is one of my top tips for all of your speakers that are listening to this. Do not use your personal profile to build your business. Build a page for your speaking business, because what you can do is you can build what I call myself a personality page, and what you're able to do is create a page for you, the speaker, and then you can brand it to have all of the branded aspects that you have on your website, so it's flawless. This will help you build your credibility, but also you can then go a little bit further by using your personal profile to go further with one-to-one connections if you need to.
Right.
So you can almost cultivate them on your page and then transfer them into a sale via your personal profile on Facebook.
So if you're doing mostly a Facebook business page, and I know we're going to talk about Facebook advertising coming up here, but if just to get your posts seen on your business page, what do you advise your strategies? Because I'll look at, a post that I put out and it's like, oh, yay, 36 people got to see that post.
Right.
They want me to pay, right? So what is your advice on that? Just on a daily basis?
I would say pay. I
Okay.
mean, I hate to say that, but if I've been looking at we handle hundreds of clients' Facebook pages and advertising accounts at the Go agency, and just one of the trends that I've seen, and I can see this because I can pull a really nice number of pieces of data. And what's happened is, as Facebook advertising has become more popular, the amount of impressions that your content are receiving, they're dropping drastically. So whereas before I could say, hey, optimize your content by doing this, that, and the other. Well, you can optimize it as much as you want, but it's only going to help you by a half of a fraction. So it really is moving into a paid model. And I hate to say that because that is a little bit of a bummer, because I believe people think that, oh, Facebook free. We can't think about it like that anymore.
Not anymore. And I think if you harbor the grudge, as I have done,
Yeah.
of building up 5,000 and then transferring my 5,000 over to my business and then getting these things, I think it's not going to serve you very well. You have to kind of adopt with what's actually going on now and go with it. Okay. So, well, let's do a deep dive into some of the strategies that are really working for your clients. What are the things that are getting the most bang for the buck? So let's assume that we have a budget. Where should we place the money?
I would place the money in Facebook advertising.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I say that is, well, obviously what we just talked about. Your posts aren't going to pretty much be served up that often unless you sponsor them, especially if you're looking to grow. But a lot of people have this misconception that you need to have a Google AdWords type of budget for Facebook advertising, which couldn't be further from the truth. You can start off with something as low as $50 or $25 a month and see how what sort of return that money will give you.
Okay.
Then what I always suggest is I always suggest creating a 3-month strategy for yourself, budgeting about $150, and then trying all of the different things that Facebook advertising can offer you using that money.
Okay.
Limit it to about $50 per month. And then once you finish, as you go from day to day, you can see exactly how everything is performing. You can gauge that interest, and then what's going to happen is the thing that you think is going to be the least effective is the most effective. You get all of your money, you move it into the thing that's the most effective, and then you keep discovering. Wow. It's the best way of going about Facebook advertising. I think so many people think, like my clients at the Go agency, they'll say, well, I don't have money for Facebook advertising. And I'm like, well, can you afford $50 to reach 50,000 more people? Yeah, you can. You totally can.
You kind of can. Okay, so I set out a budget, and I'm thinking, $50 is pretty reasonable, and you'll test it for 3 months, and then you'll see. Would you be doing a combination of the straight up Facebook ads that I am thinking a beautiful image, click here for more information type of thing? Or would some of that money be going to boost the posts that you're putting on your business page?
What I would do is I would do what you're comfortable with first, because when you go in, what's nice about Facebook is that they've made it very easy for you to spend money. So if you go into the Facebook advertising, Facebook ad manager, which every account comes with, you will be able, if you click create your first ad, you'll immediately see all of the different options you have. I believe right now there's 12 different categories or 12 different types of ads that you can do. And what I find, and my tip, and especially for all of the speakers out there listening to this, I really think that video is the way to go. Because what you can do right now, because Facebook, because if you've noticed, if you go down your Facebook timeline, you're not seeing any more YouTube videos. You're only seeing these autoplay Facebook videos. And those are called native videos, which are uploaded natively just from your computer directly to Facebook. That's why they autoplay. Now, if you put an ad on the video that you've created or uploaded, you will save about 60% off what you would usually spend, for example, on a like campaign or a boost campaign. And that's right now, as we're talking, this is what's happening right now. Because what they're trying to do is they're trying to get more people to use video on Facebook.
Okay, let's circle back and say that again because
Sure.
it went fast. So tell me how I say 60% again.
Well, it's about 60%, give or take, what your market is,
Okay.
but it's a nice chunk. Instead of using, if you create a video ad for video views,
Mm-hmm.
okay. Well, here's the thing: is that gonna get a conversion for you? Well, people are going to be seeing your video, so your message needs to be the converter. But if you were to place a video ad, you'll save more money because they're incentivizing right now.
Mm.
So if I pay $5, I might get 50,000 views as opposed to maybe 5,000 that I might get on a boost.
Wow, that sounds great. I love it.
It's great, and it will change over time. So obviously, we know that I could log on right now after our interview's over, and everything could be changed.
Right.
But it's not. It's knowing how that needle moves is really powerful.
Right, which is why we came back to you and wanted to make sure that we gave some up-to-date information because I think we probably did our first podcast over a year ago, which the minute we closed the books on it, it was probably outdated. Okay, things are moving fast. Speaking of things moving fast, there's always these newfangled things that people say you've got to be on this, you've got to be on that. Facebook Live, Periscope, things like that. What are you seeing is working for people? Are they flash in the pans?
No. I think that it's a tough answer because I think that for companies that are ready to tell their story and they're good at visual storytelling, these are just more mediums for them to use. But I'm going to probably venture a guess that 60 to 75% of companies out there aren't prepared to tell their visual story. And that's what these Facebook Live, because I don't know if anybody else there has seen a Facebook Live and you're thinking to yourself, why the heck are you live? What value is this adding? And it's because it's not on brand. So it's just like when we looked at Facebook posts 6 years ago, and brands were posting the most random information and very unprofessional. It's just people are learning how to use it.
Mm-hmm.
I would say where I would be putting my money in my time is in visual mediums, and especially Instagram is one that I've found to be really key.
Okay.
Instagram's also helpful because it is owned by Facebook. So if you're doing advertising, there are crossover elements.
So if I wanted to post something on Instagram, could I get a click through happening there into something else?
Yes, you can.
Okay. Because I don't know if that was available in the early days, was it?
It wasn't, but there's other ways to interact with Instagram content.
Okay.
And, with the advertising, for example, when you place a Facebook ad, no matter what it is, one of the placement options is always Instagram.
Okay, great. Oh, I like that. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's good to know. Okay, so what other strategies are really, really working for your clients?
I would definitely say visually driven storytelling. I hate saying storytelling because a lot of people, a stuffier brand thinks, okay, well, come on, we're a legal office. How can we tell our visual story?
Right.
It's less about. Obviously, we're talking to speakers out there, and how to tell the stories every day. But it's kind of helping people understand what the key messages are. And I really feel with the amount of messages that are being hit over everyone's head on a daily basis, video and images are really the key to resonating with your audience now. Just for example, I don't know if I could remember the last written update that I can remember off the top of my head from reading from Facebook, but I can remember the last video I saw.
Right. We're always watching something.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How many things do we share in a day? Well, I'm not sharing anybody's written posts. Mm-hmm. I'm sharing a video. I'm sharing an image. So if you want to grow your network and grow your influence, sharing custom videos and custom images is the way to go. It helps spread your brand.
What are those cute little videos called that cartoon you through it? Those have captured my attention sometimes for up to 30 minutes, which really surprised me. Where the person is drawing it as you're listening to the words.
Oh, right. Yes. There's lots of those out there. Um, the two that I've found to be really useful, especially for people that are just starting out,
Mhm.
obviously you can do Instagram video, which
Mhm.
is right on Instagram, very simple. But you could, but here's one of the things: how many people out there? I'm sure there's lots of your listeners. They just don't want to be in front of the camera. Maybe they're comfortable in front of an audience. They like taking. They're okay with photos, but just they're not comfortable with the whole video production.
Okay.
Great tool that I want to share that I use a lot, and it's one of the marketing tools that we use for our clients at the Go Agency, which is Ripple, which
Okay.
is RIPL. Now, Ripple is interesting because you're not going to log into that on your desktop. You're going to use it on your tablet or your phone.
Hmm.
And what you're able to do is take a mixture of messages and imagery and set them to music, set them to motion, and create some sort of visualization built on templates. So you can go in there and create some really cool short videos that will loop, upload them directly to Facebook, place some advertising behind it, and it's going to do way better than just a boosted post with a stock image that you're using.
Nice. And is there some sort of call to action at the end of every video?
No, you'd have to put the call. You can put the call to action. It depends on whatever you want to add to the video.
Okay.
You could add book now. You could add your phone number, your website, your email. No, it really does give you free reign as to what sort of information that you want to put in there.
Okay.
One thing I will just throw back as a tip, especially we're talking, just circle back to Facebook advertising for a second.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be careful with your videos and your images that you're using in terms of how much verbiage are in them. Facebook will serve up your content less if there are more words and calls to action in them.
Wow, interesting. Good
So
to know.
yeah, so just want to let you know that because that will help you. Also, sometimes Facebook will just completely disapprove based on if, for example, if I have a stock, I just have one image and it has 10 lines of copy on it, it will be rejected.
Okay. So what we want to do is use these visual images to build the brand,
Yeah.
and it may not be a heavy duty hard sell. It may just be a brand building process, and people are watching you and following you. And at some point, I think your goal is to pull people into your world and keep them there until they buy from you. And if you're putting enough good content out there, then eventually they will buy, don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, totally. And here's a really great tip for all the speakers out there. If you have photographs of yourself speaking
Mm-hmm.
in front of an audience, if you don't, you should get them. Obviously, you know how important they are.
Yes.
If you have those images, obviously you have sentences that you say in every one of your speeches that brand you.
Mm-hmm.
I would take those quotes, I would use that image as a background, put your quote over top of it, and boom,
Okay.
you have something good to go.
All right. And you're quoting yourself, which makes you the expert. And I know some people poo-poo this. They say that kittens die every time you quote yourself. But you know what?
You know how many litters I've killed? I quote myself all the time.
I really like I really like it too. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Back to videos just for a second. Is there a maximum time frame for our attention span? What is the time frame on videos that you're seeing that is kind of most effective?
You know what? Really short. Really short. Like 30 seconds or less is
30. Okay.
really
All
what
right.
we're looking
All
for.
right.
If you have some sort of, maybe you want to share a part of your speech or something that you've done, I mean, I can understand it being a little bit longer
Mhm.
because people can kind of jump around through it, but just understand the conversion will be lower. I just don't want people to not upload a slightly longer video because, people only think in 20-second increments.
Right,
That's
right.
it's not always true. You want to have some variety, especially on your Facebook page, for example, because you can hyperlink to those posts and share them in your emails and embed them in your website. There's lots of different things that you can do.
Okay. I've seen this is kind of a little bit of a diversion, but I've seen a lot of websites where people's videos take them out to YouTube, and once they go to YouTube and they don't open in a new window, you've lost them, don't you think? I mean, people are so And so I watched the video. I've gone to YouTube to see, but then I see, 6 things that are related, but not really related to this one speaker. And pretty much you've lost me, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And I have a really good tip for your speakers out there.
Okay.
I use a service called LeadPages.
Mm-hmm.
And it's leadpages.net. It's everywhere. But if you were developing your website and you have webinars, etc., and you're just not a programmer, you just don't know anything about building a website. Because we'll have speakers that will come to us, and they don't want to fork out $2,000, $2,500 for a website based around maybe one event or a webinar possibly to promote their product range.
Right.
Lead Pages is wonderful because you could actually put your video that you've created to sell to sell whatever. It will help you with your opt-ins. It will help you with all of your automated messages before and after, your reminders, everything.
And it will be embedded rather than
Yes.
coming into YouTube, which is a beautiful thing. Okay. So, what about custom images? Did we cover enough on that?
Well, I want to throw out a tool. I want to throw out a tool that I use, and it's funny because I've named a lot of tools here.
Sure.
The whole social media game now, I would say for an average client at the Go agency, we would probably have maybe 15 to 20 different social media tools that we use to execute their campaigns.
Right.
So I'm not saying that everybody has to be so sophisticated, but I'm saying that, you can use a mix. And I would say if you're doing it, because I would say one tool doesn't do everything anymore.
Right.
Everyone's trying to be specialists. So what I would suggest is if you're trying to create images for yourself, like I've mentioned before with the background of them speaking with the quote overlay, what I would suggest is using a tool like Canva.
Right.
Canva is fantastic because it is free, low cost, and you're able to work off of existing templates that look pretty beautiful. And if you are not a Photoshop genius, just like the Ripple videos, you don't have to be Steven Spielberg. We are looking at tools that we can use just like emailing somebody or setting up a Facebook page. If you can do that, this is going to be no different. It's going to be just as easy.
You can't get much easier than Canva, I don't think. That's a great way to go. So let's talk about, is there a tool that you use to schedule all your posts for your clients?
Yes and no. I do. I like to mix it up. I would say if you don't have enough time, I do tend to always suggest HootSuite.
Yeah.
But HootSuite is fairly limiting because HootSuite doesn't really adequately handle Instagram, Pinterest, or Google Plus, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And also the reporting, I think, is very subpar, which is why, again, we will use 4 or 5 other tools to create more comprehensive reports. One of the things I want to say, though, is, and there's lots of different thought processes on this. Posting directly to your Facebook page, if you're only doing Facebook, only doing Facebook, that's it. Do not use any other third-party schedule. Use Facebook Scheduler. And then you will have all of the insights right there. So you don't need a reporting. Everything's in that one spot. I think a lot of people want to ooh, HootSuite, cool, new. Oh, it's going to be sophisticated. Yeah, let's do that. You want to make your life as easy as possible.
Right. Okay, I like that. And if you were to have an alternative to HootSuite, has there been anybody who's come along who's nipping at their heels?
Well, I mean, there's other. I would say at the price point, no, Jane. But if you want to throw some money at that, Sprout Social is another one, and HubSpot is another one, but these people are multi-level marketing as well. So there's lots of extras that you find out later.
Okay. Thank you.
That I don't like. I like things being very straightforward and honest. So they're not my favorite.
Thank you for the buyer beware. Okay, last question. If you are, I know you're an agency, so you probably have one way of thinking about this. Some people, I've heard big speakers say, I always do my own posting myself. I want it to be in my own voice. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that for example, we have a lot of clients that when we're talking to them as prospects, that's probably one of the biggest concerns that they have. How are you going to sound like me?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very simple due to the fact that, PR firms and marketing firms and advertising agencies have been handling other people's messaging for a long time. It's just finding that person that cares enough to learn. Because, for example, if you're going to go for a social media agency that's going to get your posts out there and write them, and they cost $20 a month, you're getting $20 worth.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate to say this, but it really does, it does come down to cost a lot of the times. I mean, you have to find a company that is comfortable with you, that you're comfortable with, that actually wants to learn about you, that is interested in you, and also that you feel in your gut has your best interest at heart. And then I would watch it. I would say that 98% of the clients that we serve at the Go Agency have been screwed over before they've gotten to us.
Right.
And the reason being is I think a lot of people are so eager to make that leap. They're so bogged down with so many different elements they don't understand that, what, Jane, that's why I wrote the Go method.
Mm-hmm.
Because I really wanted to set forth like an outline that people could follow and just really understand how these campaigns come together so they could do it themselves. Because it is possible for somebody else to do it. I mean, I do it for over 100 clients on multiple sites per client. But it's because we have a very client-focused type attitude. And I think that other agencies may not have that. So it really is finding the right person. And it's not going to be like, oh, hey, my cousin's in college. Oh, perfect, he's in college. That's the perfect social media age. Yeah.
Not necessarily. They might not know your market or anything about your business. So I think that's very, very good advice. Okay, so Chris, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what is the best way for them to kind of get started in your world?
Sure. What I would suggest is go to my website for the Go Agency. It's thegoagencyusa.com. And if you go to thegoagencyusa.com, you'll be able to see a little bit about everything. You can meet our team. You can take a look at our service offerings because we obviously our core offering is social media, but we also offer copywriting services, email marketing, website design, graphic design, branding, consultations, and a lot more. Also, if you go to thegoagencyusa.com, check out our blog. We have so many helpful articles that, if you're kind of getting a little bit lost and you want to just maybe trickle some different tips and tricks into your campaign, it's a great place to start.
Wow, I love it. Well, you've given us some great food for thought on the social media front. I certainly needed this little boost for my own planning and programming, and I'm thinking I'm going to be raising my budget fairly soon to get into doing some of more of these fun things. We've seen some great results in the past. So thank you so much for your time, and we at the Wealthy Speaker Podcast appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, Chris, and we'll see you soon, Wealthy Speakers. Bye for now, everybody. Thanks for listening to the Wealthy Speakers Show. Please visit speakerlauncher.com for your free Wealthy Speaker audit, and visit speakerlauncher.com/podcast for show notes and many more resources to help you catapult your speaking business. See you soon, Wealthy Speakers.